UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson will face a vote of confidence later today. The Tory 1922 committee chairman, Sir Graham Brady, says that the threshold of 54 MPs required to seek a no-confidence vote has been reached. A ballot will be held between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. local time today, and the votes will be counted immediately afterwards.
I'll say what was in the written statement if it's helpful to you, which is simply to say that the threshold of 15% of the parliamentary party seeking a vote of confidence in the Prime Minister has been passed. Therefore, a vote of confidence will take place within the rules of the 1922 committee. That vote will take place this evening in the House of Commons between 6 and 8 o'clock, and we will announce the result shortly thereafter. There will be arrangements for proxy votes for any colleagues who can't be present in person in Westminster, and we'll notify colleagues of those arrangements in the near future.
Boris Johnson needs to get a majority of his own MPs to back him to stay in his position as leader of the party. That would mean 180 votes is what he needs. If he loses, then there would be a leadership contest. Boris Johnson has been struggling for some time to get past the issues of Partygate. The damning Sue Gray report into parties in and around Downing Street during periods of COVID-19 lockdown led to more MPs coming out to say that they believe that Boris Johnson should go. The opposition Labour Party say that it's time for Conservative MPs to change their leader. But Boris Johnson has been receiving the backing of cabinet ministers. Let's go to Chris Jones now, our correspondent in London, who's joining me live. Chris, tell us how this plays out later.
Yeah, well, Ollie, this is probably the biggest test of Boris Johnson's leadership as Prime Minister. We'll see Conservative members of Parliament vote between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. UK time today. They'll be voting as to whether they want Prime Minister Boris Johnson to continue as Prime Minister or whether they want a new leader or not. We'll really see if around about 180 votes is needed for a majority. That will likely happen. Boris Johnson has a large majority within the government itself, and after all, only 15% of Conservative MPs were needed to enact this vote of no confidence to go ahead. And it's really going to be a test for Boris Johnson. If he wins, he will gain 1 year's immunity. He won't be challenged for his leadership until another year, perhaps. But it might be that the damage is already done. As you mentioned, the Partygate scandal has really damaged his reputation in the eyes of the electorate, who are really kind of rallying against him. And we saw that on Friday at the Queen's special Thanksgiving service at St Paul's Cathedral. There were real audible boos as he and his wife, Carrie Johnson, made their way up to the cathedral. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this one plays out later on.
OK, Chris, and in terms of what comes next, as you say, a year it would mean that he would not be able to face a leadership challenge under the 1922 committee rules as they stand. But what arguments is Boris Johnson making to his own MPs ahead of this vote to try and convince them to back him?
Well, we've seen a letter really make its way around Conservative MPs from Boris Johnson, giving reasons as to why they should back him in this vote later on. And a lot of it really reverberates around this message that Boris Johnson has been putting out the entire time he's been contested for his leadership, and that's that he wants to get the job done. It also says in this letter that voters will only hear that we are divided, distracted and talking amongst ourselves about ourselves, and the person who will benefit is Keir Starmer. That's if they vote against him staying in Conservative leadership. It also talks about Boris Johnson's role in terms of a successful COVID-19 rollout, and also the aid given to Ukraine during Vladimir Putin's invasion of the country. But it might be that the damage is already done, despite cabinet members like Rishi Sunak, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and Nadine Dorries, who's the Culture Secretary, backing Prime Minister Boris Johnson. We've got Conservative MPs like Jeremy Hunt, who have basically said that Prime Minister Boris Johnson has lost the trust of the electorate already because of this Partygate scandal and because of the current cost of living crisis. So it might be that we see more Conservative members of the Conservative Party come out and vote against Prime Minister Boris Johnson, but we'll have to wait until the result of that vote come out later this evening.
Thank you, Chris.